Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee and today we are on my new island, Ink Blot. Ink Blot will be my Kidcore City island, but with a little twist. This whole island will be in black and white, so we will still have super fun Kidcore builds, but they will all be in grayscale. And today we're going to be building the entrance, and I'm super excited for this build and the whole island, so let's get right into it. For this entrance, I want to start off with a little airport waiting area that goes into a parking lot that leads to a big road that will eventually go to resident services. And then across the street from the parking lot and next to resident services, we'll have a mini shopping area with a few different stores. And you can see on the map that our resident services isn't too far from the airport, and we will be making a street in front of the building, but the main portion of our build will be inside this little red rectangle. Starting off this build, we do have a bit of pathing to do. For the most part, this island will be set up like a city, so we'll have a bunch of structured streets, so I'm starting by laying down some of the in-game light dirt pathing. And I know technically the dirt isn't gray, but I tried the stone pathing and it looked too busy for my liking, so I decided to suck it up and use the dirt pathing. And the reason I'm using the dirt pathing is because I created some street borders, so a good portion of the pathing will actually be the dirt pathing with just some custom codes on top. But after laying down the in-game pathing, we are going to get into the actual road codes. And a majority of the codes used on this island I actually had to create myself because, as you can imagine, a lot of the Kidcore codes aren't black and white. So in order to actually have codes on this island, I did have to make most of them myself. I haven't loaded these onto the design portal, but if anyone wants these codes, I can definitely load them and create an MA for this island. But for any of the codes I'm using that I didn't create, I will have them listed down in the description box. So for the roads, I did create a simple gray tile codes for the sidewalk, and then the sides of the roads I have these little black, white, and gray border codes. And then for the lines in the road, I decided to make them split between two tiles. This way there's plenty of room to add more details, whether it be the cute filler codes or to have the big car items stay in their own lanes. Now I'm going to start working on the entryway and parking lot. For the little waiting area in the entrance, I wanted this area to be completely covered in the gray sidewalk code to make it look more like a bus stop rather than a big piece of road. Now I'm going to start making the actual parking lot, and to do this I'm placing down some of our border codes that include the beginning of the parking spot dividers. And I'm making sure to separate these all with an empty square so that there's enough room to add our cars and scooters to make it look like someone's actually parked there. I wanted the parking lot to be its own area and separated from the big road, so I'm adding in this mini median between the road and the parking lot. And then to finish off our parking lot, I'll be outlining this whole area with the gray sidewalk code and the border codes. Now that we have all our roads and little areas mapped out with our pathing and codes, we can actually get to the fun part of decorating. To section off this waiting area from the parking lot, I'm adding in some vertical board fencing, and to make this area a little bit more fun and Kidcore-like, I'm alternating the fences between the white and the black version. And then to decorate this area, I'm using a few different items that you might see in an airport lobby, so of course your food and drink machines and some seating. I also decided to close this area off because I want to go back in and add some trees and flowers next to the entrance, but that will be shown in a few minutes. For now, I'm just going to go in and add some details to our little median between the parking lot and the road, and I'm keeping this pretty simple with just some street lamps and some fencing. I went back and forth between the black iron fencing and the hedges, but since this area doesn't really have a lot of foliage, I decided to go with the hedges to liven up the entrance. Now I'm going in and adding our trees, shrubs, and flowers to the sides of our waiting area. I don't include it in this video, but after looking at our complete build, I do want to go back and add some more trees and flowers to the sides of our parking lot and next to resident services. And then I'm repeating the tree and shrub pattern on the other side, but I decided to mix it up with the flowers and use cosmos on the side instead of lilies. I know I've only used 2 trees in this build so far, but I'm thinking I want to keep this whole island to only hardwood trees. The cedar trees in winter are still a green color, while the hardwood trees are a pretty white color, and I think the green from the cedar trees would stand out so much, so I'm thinking only hardwood trees. And then to finish off our waiting area, I'm just adding in a few filler items because this area was looking a little empty. Now I'm going to start working on the small shopping area next to resident services. This area is going to have 2 buildings, a laundromat, and a bakery. And my plan for this island is to give each villager a little job on the island and then decorating the inside of their houses to look like the inside of the stores. I don't have all the villagers set for this island yet, but one will have a little laundromat interior and one will have a bakery. So let me know your recommendations for which villagers that are all black and white or gray that would fit a laundromat or a bakery. But for this build, I'm keeping the buildings pretty simple and making them out of wide display stands and simple panels. And then to make these areas a little bit more fun, I'm adding in a little square of decoration next to the buildings to add in a few more details that match the shops. And for right now, I'm using fencing items, but I think I want to go back and use simple panels for this area instead. In order to add the second story of each building, I'm making a cliff behind the wide display stands. This way we can add another row of simple panels and wide display stands to act like the roof of the buildings. Now to make the building look like an actual building, I'm placing a line of custom designed simple panels in front of the wide display stands. I also decided to turn one of the display stands around, and later on we can add some smaller items to make it look like the shop window. And then I'm repeating this process to the top layer of the building to make it look like the sign of the laundromat. Like I said, I wanted to create little decorative areas next to each building, so in this spot we're making a small area to wash your clothes. So I'm adding in a line of washing machines and then adding in a few items like shopping baskets and soap dispensers to detail up the area. And then to decorate the outside of the new laundromat, I'm adding a few items in the window. I also used the custom designed duck in the display on the back wall, and I think it's so cute. And then I'm also adding this display table to the left side of the building to try and block off the repeated logo on the simple panel. And then I'm just adding in some stacked folded clothes and a 50% off sale sign. I don't think laundromats really sell clothes or other items, but I thought the table was super cute, and I also wanted to use a stack of shirts, so I figured maybe they also sell clothes at this laundromat. You never know. And then back up to the top of our building, I'm adding 2 rows of display stands facing each other to finish off the roof of our building. And as you can see, I added a layer of custom codes on the ground, that way at certain angles you can't see the snowy grass on the floor. You'll just see a layer of custom codes. And then I still thought the front of our building looked a little plain, so I added this plastic bench, and in front of the glass window I added a wooden box with a cassette player. On this island, I really want to use the KK Slider songs in different areas of this island, and I got that inspiration from Kerritcake's island Dabtopia, so I wanted to add that cute detail to my island as well. I also want to continue this build on the second cliff and possibly having a second layer road behind the buildings, so I'm adding a stone staircase between our two shops. Now I'm starting to work on our bakery, and this time I'm starting off with the top of our building. So I'm adding in a line of simple panels and then adding our 4 wide display stands behind that. Again, in the front of our building, I'm adding our custom designed simple panels. For this building, I decided to go with 2 panels of the black wall and then keeping our glass door and glass window. I also like to use the short simple panels in front of the window display because I think it looks better when the color matches the other simple panel walls. And then for our black wall, I decided to use a stall so we can display some extra bakery items. I also think the stall looks a little bit more restaurant-y. Just like our laundromat, I'm making a small little decorative section next to our bakery. But for this area, I'm making a little cafe where you can come and eat all your baked goods. Again, in this area, I'm using the fence item, but I may change this out for more simple panels because I might extend the terraforming farther out to the side, and I don't want you to be able to see the cliff edge through the fence. For this small cafe area, I'm using 6 diner chairs in the black and white variant and pairing that with a small black cafe table. I first tried using the diner tables in this area, but it made it look too much like a diner rather than a small bakery cafe. And now I'm going in and decorating around the bakery. I will admit it was kind of hard to find items to use to decorate this area with because a lot of the food items in Animal Crossing have a bunch of colors. Even the bread is too brown, so I just went with some kitchen equipment and coconut food items. To finish off this build, I'm going in with a few more decorative items to clutter it up a bit. And here's our final build. But that's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Before you leave, make sure to give the video a like, comment, and to subscribe to the channel. If you watched to the end, let me know in the comments what other fun Kidcore builds I should add to this island. Bye, friends!